Arya Stark named her wolf after her, Nymeria. Who was Nymeria of the Rhoynar, who became a princess of Dorne? Why did she flee her homeland? How did her fleet fare against the dangers of the sea? Let's find out. That is Nymeria's star, burning bright. And that milky band behind her? Those are 10,000 ships. She burned as bright as any man, and so shall I. Nymeria is a princess of the Rhoynar, river-living people who came up against an expansion of the Valyrians. Friendly starting relations descended into conflict when the Valyrians destroyed a Rhoynar city, Sahoy, an important port, and enslaved its populace. Prince Garin called the people to join together to fight the Valyrians, and this was met with much acceptance, except by Princess Nymeria, the only one who spoke against it. She knew they could not hope to win a war against the Dragon Lords, but caught up in their want for revenge, she was shouted down, and they agreed to go to war with the prince. Nymeria ruled Nysar, and her own warriors wanted to join the conflict, leaving her with no choice but to be drawn in. And so, reluctantly, she joined the Great Alliance under Prince Garin. Every man of fighting age joined the forces assembled at Rhoynar. The prince declared that the water wizards in their force could foil the fire of the Valyrians, so long as they remained in their element on the water. The army was split three ways, and they won the first few battles at sea and on land. Victory after victory piled, swelling the prince's reputation, and he became known as Garin the Great. Recoiling from their losses, the Valyrian colonies hid, and called to the motherland for help. The call was answered. 300 dragons were sent from the freehold of Valyria. As Nymeria had seen, against such might the Rhoynar could not stand. Tens of thousands of their ships were burnt. The army was broken, and the great Garin was caged and present for the slaughter of his own city. He called down a curse, and the city was drowned. The Valyrians, there to witness their victory, fell ill and died from grayscale. We will build 10,000 ships, as Nymeria once did, and take sail with all our people to the land beyond the sunset. News of the defeat came to Nymeria, and she knew the doom would soon come to her own city. She filled every ship of any scale she could with women and children, and of the men there were few left, many having joined Garin's failed attack. She led this ragtag fleet through the bloated corpses and fields littered with the dead, through the rivers running red with the blood of her fellows slaughtered, and they emerged near the Summer Isles, thinking it too dangerous to sail near Volantis. It was a colony of the Valyrians. Legend speaks of their numbers being 10,000, as Nymeria led them in search of a new home. Many ships not seaworthy sank on the journey. Some broke away from the fleet and were taken by slavers. They paused at the Basilisk Isles to replenish with fresh water and food, but felt an attack from the Corsair kings, Talon and Howling Mountain. The Corsairs sunk 20 ships and took many of Nymeria's people as slaves. They then gave demands to the princess that her host could settle on the Isle of Toads, provided each king is paid in tribute of 30 virgin girls and pretty boys. Not wanting such a fate for her people, the princess sailed away to find refuge. She hoped in the jungles of Sothorios. Groups broke away and settled different places. Nymeria remained at an abandoned colony called Zamatar, but the attack of disease, slavers, and the very environment itself meant the Rhoynar struggled to settle in Sothorios. The last straw was when a settlement called Yin had its entire populace vanish overnight, and the Rhoynar set sail again. They failed to settle in Narth and the Summer Isles, but what remained of the battered fleet then found Dorne. Nymeria's blood is in me, along with that of Mors Martell, the Dornish lord she married. At the time, Dorne was filled with quarrelling lords and self-proclaimed kings, warring over the little fertile land that was there. The Rhoynar were looked on as invaders by many, except for one of those kings, Mors Martell, who saw instead an opportunity to take Nymeria as his wife. Mors and Nymeria were wed, and through more intermarriage between their peoples, they were joined further. The Martells, by joining with the invaders, gained the strength of their warrior women, hardened on their harrowing journey, and the young men who had started the voyage were now warriors themselves, taking the place of their slaughtered fathers. The Rhoynar also brought much knowledge with them that would enrich Dorne, from metalworkers to improve the armour and weapons, to water witches who could help the arid desert bloom. This could perhaps lessen the conflict for such land within Dorne itself. Nymeria burnt the Rhoynar ships and declared Dorne their new home. Mor was named Prince of Dorne, a tradition that had been set in her own land. War followed that short moment of triumph as the Martells began to conquer the petty kings of Dorne. They struggled against Yronwood, and Mors fell to him, leaving Nymeria to assume command. She fought on for 2 more years to achieve victory. Yorick Yronwood bent his knee to her, and she ruled Sunspear after alone. She took 2 more husbands and ruled for 27 years. Her partners remained as advisors in the throne room and the bedroom, perhaps because, after struggling as sole leader for so long, she did not need others' advice, or because her love of Mors could not be replaced by another. During her reign, Nymeria quelled rebellions, thwarted assassinations, and prevented 3 invasions, 2 from the Storm King and 1 from the King of the Reach. When Nymeria died, her title as Princess of Dorne was given to her eldest daughter by Mors, and not to her son, as had been traditional in Dorne, showing the permanent changes her people's customs brought to Dorne as they became adopted, and show her lasting legacy. What do you think to Nymeria? Would you like to know more of what happened during her long reign? Do you love Dorne? Let's chat in the comments below. Thank you for checking out my video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for all notifications.